Dude,
It's going to be a big day, man.
gonna be a big day. Man, we got an awesome guest today. I'm so pumped about it, guys. We're gonna have some energy in the house today, and all the way from the Atlanta area. We have one of the just man most lively, most entertaining dudes that you're gonna see. Get ready for some energy today. Austin's pretty hyped.
Very excited.
He got some extra energy drinks, maybe a couple more than normal today. Even working on one right now. So
Yeah, they're not a sponsor.
yeah, not a
But
sponsor.
maybe one day they will be, Rain. Just saying.
But the thing is, man, we have
Ernest
the cat,
Miller.
dude, with you guys today. He's here for us. So get ready.
I'd like to introduce myself. I don't believe that we have ever met. I think that we could hit it off so well. Let me paint a picture, you and me together. I'd like to
All right, so welcome back, Rojo family. I'm Mark.
I'm Austin.
And welcome back to Life with Rojo. Right now, we are joined with a special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, he's fast, he's flashy, and he once danced with James Brown in the ring. It's Ernest the Cat Miller.
Brother, listen, I'm glad you guys had a show to bring me on. I'm glad to be here. You know, I want to talk to you two guys, man. See what you guys up to. You guys not talking
Yes,
to
sir.
me, I'm talking to you. So go ahead. All right.
No, man. So one of the things we were just wondering is like, with all the different entrances you did and all the different matches and just the energy you always brought to the situation, like, did you have one specific match that you felt like was like your best entrance, your wildest one?
Man, you know what? They all was about the same. Let me step back 1 minute. I started using music to come to the ring when I was actually doing kickboxing. A lot of guys, you guys may not know, but I'm a three-time world kickboxing champion, Kyokushin champion, this bare knuckle champion. So me, whenever I won, that was my best interest to the ring. You know, pro wrestlers kind of, you guys may not know this, but it's fake.
I mean, I'm never gonna say that to you because I don't want to get hurt.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. It's entertainment, so
Right.
everything was
Yeah.
predetermined. So when I walked to the ring, it was like walking to the ring every time was the same. But I could say all around it was fun. It's fun to come out to the loud crowd cheering you on when you're a good guy. And it's also fun to come out when you're a bad guy and they boo you. So I've been on both sides of it. I've been on the cheer, I've been on the boo.
Yeah, I
So,
remember
it's
like
all the same.
once you got to that point where they started booing you, like the energy you were bringing, it just seemed like you kept coming with it, and I mean, there was more energy going on in that back and forth than I saw like that whole night on a night of matches.
Well, it's easy to be a bad guy. Most of my friends think I'm a good guy. Most of my friends, people I talk to, they look at me, so he's a nice guy, he's quiet.
Right,
So all I
right.
did is the opposite. I did exactly what my mom told me not to do growing up. Don't put your finger in people's face. Don't tell people to shut up. You know, I did all those things right there, but at the same time, they had to like you a little bit to even care for you. Just to
Well, see, I
boo you,
remember seeing
so.
that character that you were playing when you were doing this in wrestling. And then I actually got to meet you growing up when I was a teenager, and you were working out at the Gold's Gym in the same town I lived in. And I mean, there was so much excitement to have the cat working out at the same gym as us. You know, it just made you feel a little stronger and everything.
Man, you know, that town, the Conyers was a nice little town when I first moved there. I had just started with WCW, and it was a small, quiet town. You know,
Yes, sir.
what is that, Highway 138 was so one, you might see two or three cars traveling that highway. Now you go
Right.
over there, it look like it's 285. It turned into 285.
Yeah. Once everybody got to know you, man, you were a celebrity and you were the most famous person in the town. Like everybody loved you. And I remember I watched you work out one time. It was like the first time I ever saw you in the gym. And there was a bunch of us younger guys just watching. And you had like 135 on the bench. You hit that for 10. You did 225, hit it for 10. I mean, you just kept going up. And I was like, goodness, because
Yeah,
in wrestling, you have so much like flexibility and athleticism. And there's a lot of guys that size wise had more
yeah.
mass than you. And I was like, dude, I did not have a clue this guy was this strong.
But you know what? I came up not doing a lot of
Mhm.
weight. Although I played pro football, I played college football, I played pro football. I never went to the weight room. It wasn't my best thing. I would go stretch and do karate and hit the bag. So I was always that kind of athlete. So as I got into pro wrestling, I learned that you can be strong and physical.
Mhm.
It helps your body to heal. Not that it won't hurt, not that you won't tear something, but it help you to heal faster. So that's why I started using a little weight and doing the different
So with
workout.
wrestling though, even though the matches, you know, are scripted, right? Like, what's the recovery like? Because I know, I mean, there's actual hits in it, and you're actually taking bumps and bruises. I mean, like what's that feel like for you to recovery wise?
You kind of get used to it, and I'm used to getting hit even at 62. I take a style of karate that is called Oyama, Kyokushin. And that's bare knuckles. You can hit to the body and kick to the head. So every class, you kind of hitting the body, trying to keep they do that and be able to take these punches. 'Cause they get the body already familiar with these punches. So it don't hurt anymore. So when I was doing wrestling, they were hitting with open hands and stuff like that, and you really didn't have a lot of wear and tear on
So
your
so
body.
like, I think one of the reasons why I've never done karate is like, you know, it's hard enough itself, but like I couldn't even figure out the names that you just said. Like you said, the style of karate, it'd take me long enough to learn that before learning how to actually do it. You know?
See, that's the part. That's the part. That's the part I like. That's the part I like. I took I got so many black belts because I started when I was like 8 years old. I got my first black belt when I was 12. Well, they couldn't give me my adult black belt until I reached 18. But I got my first black belt at 12. Then I got another one, then another one, then another one. And now I'm doing this new style of karate called Kyokushin, Oyama. And this Oyama style karate, I'm a brown belt.
Oh, okay.
And I've been doing it 7 years.
So tell us,
So you learn everything. So even if you say you don't know how to pronounce the name,
Right.
you eventually you'll
so tell
learn
us
to
a
do
little
that
bit.
too.
You started in karate and football. How did that transition into the wrestling ring?
You know what, man? It didn't transition into wrestling. It didn't turn into wrestling. I had a little bit of where football and karate, and then football didn't work out for me. And then I wanted to go back into karate, but I needed some money. So what I did, I went back into karate,
Mhm.
but I started teaching. So teaching and karate were paying the bills, and then I started fighting and stuff like that. So once I got into karate and I started teaching, I had a bunch of students. One of my students just happened to be a guy named Garrett Bischoff, and Garrett Bischoff is the son of Eric Bischoff, who was then the president of WCW. So he saw me working out with Garrett, his son. He saw us working out together, and he saw some of the things I was doing and the way I was communicating with the kids, having fun with them. He said, "Hey, you should come and be a wrestler." And I said no about for 2 years. Then I finally gave
So,
in.
so what was the thing that finally made you cave in? Like when you saw the potential that you could be making to a wrestling?
And that's about it. The thing is, I'm teaching karate to a bunch of kids, and I'm hardly making ends meet. Because they don't they wouldn't I wouldn't charge the student like they wanted me to charge. See, back then they pay your base salary for teaching so many class, and you earn your money off of charging kids to do private classes. So I didn't think they should be paying for a private class. I thought that should be I couldn't ask for money for teaching a kid. If a kid come up to you, think about that. I'm his teacher, karate instructor. And I taught something today that he didn't fully get or understand. He turned to me and said, "Hey, Mr. Miller, can you work with me on this after class?"
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I did not want to say, "Yeah, if you pay me." That's a private class. So I didn't do that. If they needed my help, I was there to give my help. So I wasn't very good at making money in karate. So when Eric Bischoff and me not making money meant that my kids couldn't. I had a son. My son was 2 years old then. I had I had I needed money. That's the bottom line. I needed to take care of my son. I wanted him to have a way of life that I wanted him to have, you know. So in order to do that, I need to go make money. So when Eric Bischoff came to me and asked me to come and be a pro wrestler, he told me he can make me a champion. He could do all these good things. But the one thing he told me that I really appreciated more and got me out of there was that he can make me a very wealthy man. That's what I wanted to be. So, I went in and I started wrestling and he did exactly what he said.
What was that like?
And man, it was different. It was different. I've been on TV before, I've been in magazines before doing karate and martial arts. But wrestling fans are different than football fans, karate fans. Wrestling fans are like they really dedicated to this world of wrestling for years and years and years. They really dedicated. They real true fans
A
of the
couple of years
sport.
ago, Austin and I went out to watch one of the like more local shows in Ringgold, Georgia, which I think you might have been there one year for one of their big events, like Wrestle Jam. I think is their big event. And one thing we noticed is like some of these fans, like even at these smaller ones that aren't televised, they man, they're so into it, like I remember this one older lady, and I mean, she's screaming. She's ready to get out there and fight the wrestler. Like this lady, like would be willing to get arrested to get that wrestler protected. And I'm just like, it was just wild for me to see that.
It was so fun. I
Uh,
used to talk about people like that. I used to say how crazy they were, how naive they can be to believe this sport is real. I thought that was, I used to look down on them. Till one day when I started wrestling, I was sitting at my mom's house. We sitting in the kitchen, at the kitchen table, just like go do talking and talking. And then she said, okay, she went back in her room, and I walked back in another room. And next thing you know, I heard it sound like a fight was going on. I heard my mom yelling, "Get him, baby, get him, baby, get him." And I walked in there, slowly walked in there. Then when I looked in the room, my mom was watching wrestling. And not only was she watching wrestling, she was watching me wrestle somebody else. And she was cheering and yelling at the TV like there was a live fight. I was like, I just shook my head. I said, oh my,
right.
like the fight was going on right then. And she would tell, like this guy was about to kill my baby. Get up, get up. I'm like, I went in there, I'm like, what the world,
This
mom?
man's in the
I'm right
living
here.
room and she's worried about it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm getting hurt in the rap. But the thing is, man, we got fans who really get into that stuff, and I don't have anything bad to say about them. I had a guy that called me today. He's a rapper, and his name is West Side Gun. And West Side Gun is a very famous rapper from up in Buffalo, and he worked with Jay-Z. He worked with a designer. He designed his own clothes. He got hit songs out there. He's a very smart guy. He's about 42 years old. This guy was telling me he go to wrestling matches for the last 20 years every WWE wrestling pay-per-view. He got tattoos on his leg of wrestlers. And this is the same guy that once my son and my daughter found out I was going to, I did some commentary work with them. And once I told my son who I was working with, they went crazy. They said, "Oh yeah, I like his song. He got a great song. I like this. I like that." They were so excited. And this guy, a huge wrestling fan for 20 years, he been going to these
Well,
shows.
you know, one of the things like so I followed you in your career and watched everything with you in it, and it was cool just having the opportunity to know you a little bit too through that. But one of the questions I had is like, why'd they get rid of the little people in wrestling? Man, you know, like they had so many of them back in the day.
No, it's the other way around. But the wrestler was so big back in the day that I would consider
Yeah,
a small wrestler. It's like people see me, and when they see me, they were like,
right.
"I didn't know you were that big, that tall." Then I said, "No, you probably did because
Right.
Goldberg 6'6", Scott Hall 6'10", uh, Nash is
Yeah.
almost 6'11". So you got all these tall guys. Now you got a bunch of smaller guys. Now
Yeah,
these
so
guys today are smaller,
right.
guys. They don't use the big guys.
So tell me a little bit about how did your like the cat character develop? Like was that something right when you started wrestling that you already had kind of that persona, or did it develop as you got into it more?
You know, I grew up watching Bruce Lee, and Bruce Lee always moved like a cat. That's why I started taking karate. So if you watch any of the martial arts today, forms and katas and stuff like that, you will see that most of the stands that these karate guys are in are cat-like. They on their toes, their hands are up, you know, it's cat-like. So I was in the ring with Terry Taylor, Goldberg, and I forgot the other guy, but we was in and we were taking back bumps. That's when you go down, you throw the guy into the rope, then he bend over and you go up over him, then land on your back. So we were doing these back bumps. So it just looked so painful to me that I did not want to hit my back like that. And then they said another way you can do it, hit your feet first and then fall to your back. That way it still looked the same. So I said, okay. So I went up, we did it one time, and the guy flipped me over and I landed on my feet. Then I went back, but I landed too much on my feet. And Terry Taylor, who was coaching, he was like, "Cat, Ernest, you cannot don't land completely on your feet. How you doing that?" Then he said, "It's almost impossible for you to be able to do that. You should just rotate to your back, not fully to your feet." So he told him, "Come back out and do it higher. Throw me higher, take me up higher." So as I went up real high, I came down, land on my feet, then I hit my back again. Then he said, "How can you do that?" So I told the guy, "Here, take me and give me an arm, toss me over the rope outside." So I hit the rope. He came, toss me, and he'll go down at the same time. Then he'll carry me and throw me outside over the ring rope to the outside. So as the guy picked me up, we went into that move. I went over the top rope. I flipped and landed on my feet. So he looked at me. He was like, "Man, that's incredible." He said, "You like a cat. The cat never land on his back." So they started calling me the cat, you know. So I started walking the ropes and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just
So
athletic. That's
right.
why I don't walk bent over now. That's why I don't walk bent over, and because I didn't take a lot of bumps on my back.
So that was always like your ring name? Did you didn't have another character that y'all tried out before?
Never had never had a character. I came in as Ernest Miller. Then the only thing they changed was Ernest the Cat Miller. See, this is what a lot of people don't understand. If you look at the history of wrestlers, from The Rock, Stone Cold, these guys was in the business maybe 10 to 15 years before you got to see them on your favorite wrestling channel, you know, WCW or WWF. they had to go through these little small schools and do these small matches, and they wanted to be wrestlers. These guys, this is what they wanted to do. This was their lifelong career. I got in the business. I was 35. I did when I got into the business. I was in the big times. I got into the big time. They had to work my way up. They got me in, and once they got me in, I just took off. People started to like me. They started to like to hear me talk, to kick, to do the stuff that I was doing. So it's what we call when we said somebody got over. When someone get over, that means the crowd gonna react to them no matter what they do. So I did it like in 5 years. Think about it, 5 years. 5 years where it took. If you watch TV back then and you see people that was over, Nash, Nash, NWO, Goldberg did it too. Goldberg did it too because we got in about the same time. But Goldberg had to win 172 matches to do it. I came in, I would win some and I would lose. And on the way I got to that, I was able to pick up advice from people like The Undertaker. The Undertaker said, hey, bro, this pro wrestler, this pro wrestling, this is pro wrestling. Whenever you lose, Cat, you come out with that same attitude like you went, like you just won the match. Don't ever come out and act like you lost a match. You come out with that same attitude. And fans go crazy. They went crazy when I would come out and I was still talking like I was undefeated, like I was the man and I could beat anybody. And they'd say, you just lost yesterday. We saw you lost on Monday night. And I'm talking, you never seen anything. You never seen anything. You never saw me get the 1, 2, 3 on my back. Oh, yes, we did. And the crowd started to argue back with you. Nah, I just did exactly what I was supposed to do. I started a big fight with
Oh, that's
me and the
awesome,
fans.
man. So like, what did you feel like was more natural to you with the wrestling? Was it the actual, like, I know the fighting skills and karate and everything's a lot different than what you had doing wrestling. But do you think the wrestling skills came more natural or the persona came more natural?
The persona,
Right.
Corey, it's easy. It's easy. It's what I've done ever
Yeah.
since I was a little kid. You know, I'll get in the mirror and fuss with myself when I was young. I'm looking in the mirror. I don't like you. You don't like me. What you say? And I'm talking to myself. So I just transitioned that thought in my head onto a piece of paper that I brought to life in
So
pro
you were
wrestling.
practicing being a wrestler before you even knew you was going to be a wrestler. Yeah.
Before I even know it. You know, y'all, you kids did it
I
too.
still
You
do it.
know, when we was young and you didn't have anybody.
Did
Yeah,
you, when
yeah.
you did your first, big wrestling match, right? Your first, debut, was it like then you kind of got bit by the bug and you're like, yeah, this is it?
I, you know what? I really never got bit by a bug and say, "This is it. This is what I want." That never really hit me. Most of my friends, even from the time when I was young, most of my friends would tell you guys and tell other people he would act the same way all the time.
Mhm.
That's why I was in Conyers. Think about that. I was a super song TV. Why in the hell? I could live a millionaire. I could have lived in Buckhead. I could live in Atlanta, High. I could have lived anywhere. Why did you move to Conyers?
Yeah.
Because I like
Right.
me. I like my time. And I didn't want that. I couldn't go out and people. I'll go to the bowling alley and the whole line of kids will be right there just to talk to me. And guess what? I talk to them all, but I'd rather do it there instead of somewhere else. So the bug really never bought me. I mean, bit me to say, "Hey, I'm famous or I'm a celebrity." No, I just had
Right.
a
That's
different
awesome.
kind of job.
No, so one of the things that we had some of our Rojo families, what we call the people that follow our podcast, and some of the Rojo families sent in a couple questions, and some of the different things they wanted to know is who some of the tougher guys to go up against in wrestling were, and any finishing moves that maybe you hated people to do on you?
I hated all the moves people would do on me. That's why they called me the cat. I did not trust. You know, I got hurt one time, and it was about Dandy El Dandy. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was a Mexican wrestler, and he won the top Mexican wrestler. And he told me, he said, "Cat, I'm gonna lay you down, and then I'm gonna flip over the rope and land put my foot across your chest." So I said, "Okay, all right." Leg drop. He just outside the ring, flip over the ring, drop his leg on my chest. So I said, "All right." When the time I told him 10 times, I said, "Make sure you drop it on my chest. You know, be safe." So okay. As soon as he flipped over the rope, he didn't drop his leg. He dropped his head right on my face. And it dazed me. I mean, I was dizzy. I was dizzy. This 250-pound
Goodness.
man just came over the rope, flipped somersault, came right down on my head. He missed the whole thing. I was so pissed. That's the first time I had to calm myself down in the ring because I wanted to do some damage to this guy. But then again, because I felt like he
Right,
just wasn't safe. He didn't think about me. If he thought about me, why would you do something that can,
right.
might hurt me? If you can't do it at least 99 times out of 100, you shouldn't do that move because you hurt somebody. So anyway, he did a leg drop, knocked me out, and then I got up, woke up, and went right back to having a match. Then he told me he apologized. So when he apologized, I couldn't say anything because I know it happened
Yeah.
to me a few
Is that
times too.
pretty, uncommon though for something like that to happen to actually get hurt pretty bad, or is it just kind of
No, no. In pro wrestling, man, just like two boys wrestling in the yard, you can get hurt. I mean, it's dangerous in that ring. Some of this, especially some of the things that they're doing right now in the ring.
Right,
Why? Everybody, y'all done told the whole world that pro wrestling is fake.
right.
It's not real. So why are you trying to do something that can kill somebody
Mhm,
for something
mhm.
that is fake? See, so that's what they're doing now. They're doing all these high power. Listen, Shawn Michael used to win with a what? Super kick. Hogan used to win with a what? A leg drop. Stone Cold used to win with a
Right, right.
diamond cutter. DDP used to win with the diamond cutter. Just drop to your butt, the head go down. These was all easy, safe things that did the job. Now these guys do triple somersault to top rope to the outside. They get the guy down, 1, 2, then 3, he kick out. They doing all these big
So
moves
do you
to
do you
beat a
think
guy.
like how the world is now, where everybody just has to have more and something bigger and something riskier and stuff like that, has kind of created that? Mhm.
I think it is. I think it is. You can pick up your phone today
Right,
and see anything on that and everything. And it depends on how I want to control you too. It can show you something nice and sweet,
right.
then it'll flash something bad that you probably didn't want to see that stay in your head. You
Mhm.
can see everything right in front of you. Back in the day, even on the news, when there was a murder or somebody got injured,
Right.
TV didn't even show it on the news. Now you see it everywhere. You see it everywhere.
No, that I mean that's true, and I appreciate you sharing that because like that's one of the things too where you really see the shift in like a lot of different types of entertainment. Like we have a friend that was in the new Superman movie and that just came out 2 weeks ago. And this is supposed to be like the more wholesome one, but the one that had come out before that, there was apparently a lot of gruesome scenes and everything. And even in this one, there was still a lot of them from what I heard. And it's just like people just want that sensation of seeing that stuff now, I guess.
Bro, when we used to watch Superman, he wouldn't
Right.
even get undressed in front of the camera. He'll wear a whole suit, and then he'll just open the shirt, and you just see the Superman thing. Then next thing you know, see, now they got Superman walking
Right.
around butt naked.
Yeah.
You now you got all kinds of stuff, man. It's like this is what the world came to, and this is it don't have to be like this, but how can you tell people that they can't have knowledge that other people can get right off their cell phone? It's the same thing in wrestling. Back in the day, people thought wrestling was real. It was so easy to do what you do because they thought it was real. Now the wrestler themselves, listen, when we were wrestling against someone, if I were wrestling against Glacier, my partner, if I were wrestling against him and we were riding together after the show, they wouldn't let us do it. They would not let us ride together in the same car. He had to leave first, then the other had to leave. Then somebody had to bring him down the street just so we could hook up and ride to the next town together. They did not want people to know that it was entertainment. Now, some people just think it's so easy to get someone to click and like your stuff if you just tell stuff that run
Right.
situation. Can you remember? Can you remember? You kids, can y'all remember? Y'all probably ain't never been told it, but Santa Claus is fake. You boys, can you boys remember when y'all found
Well, I
out
think
that
he just
Santa
found
was
out.
Just
not
a couple of
real?
years ago. A couple of years ago. Listen,
That's
I
what I'm
remember.
saying.
I remember
Yeah.
watching wrestling
Yeah.
after church with my grandmother and my dad, and I would be so into it. And I remember my grandma told me she loved wrestling, but she's like, it's not real. And I would get so mad at her. I was like, "Mama, this is real. Look at them." And she's like, "No, it's not real." So I remember as a kid being like so mad at my grandma telling me it wasn't real. But growing up with her and watching it and stuff. Though. But it's some of my favorite memories though, looking back on it now.
Well, see, it's different childhood wise because when I heard Kat say that it was fake, like I've never said that out loud except for once, and I said that in front of my grandma, and we were watching on a black and white TV when I was a little kid, and she didn't feed me that night because I said wrestling was fake. So,
Well. See, that's what I'm saying. You don't know I mean, people can say it's not fake, but then when you look at it, you
right.
don't
Yeah.
know if these guys for real because you don't see a guy standing on top of a big high fence gate, jumping off down to the floor on top of somebody,
Right.
Yeah.
and then the guy get up. Now, if somebody told you that was
Yeah.
fake, you would believe that. But if somebody picked up a guy just high enough to body slam him, and he stayed down there in pain, you probably guys would say, "Now that was real." Different situation,
Well, when
different
I was looking up
stories.
videos in preparation for meeting with you tonight, I had obviously seen you go out with Goldberg the other day, and that was a cool experience. I'm glad you got to be part of that. But then I watched another video you kicking Goldberg in the face. So
Oh yeah. Hey, that's the only business you can go and have fun where you can kick one of your good friends in the jaw
see, I've
and
been wanting to
laugh
kick him
about
in
it.
the
Baby,
jaw for
that's
a
been
while.
my dream, Ernest. That's my dream, man.
Yeah. You guys can't do that. But Goldberg was like one of the toughest guys in the business. Here I am. I kick him in the mouth and live to
And
laugh
then you go
at
eat
it,
afterwards
going
at
to
the
the locker
IHOP or
room.
Denny's or something.
Yeah, as that Waffle House.
No, I remember, just living in Conyers after, a lot of the WCW stuff was happening in Atlanta. And we would go out to a restaurant or a Waffle House, and I'd see guys that just got done wrestling with each other a few hours earlier sitting at the table.
Yeah, eating. Yeah.
But so one of our fans, Cliff, he wanted to know, was Ming the toughest wrestler, back in your day when you were wrestling?
Well, I'm gonna tell you that Ming and Barbarian.
Yeah.
You remember those two guys? So I had just tagged with Glacier. So if we looked on before the show ever started, they'll put out all the matches on the cardboard and put it on the board, and you walk over to that board and you'll see who you match it against. So I had just got there about maybe a year in. Never had a. Now I knew Ming and Barbarian, but I never had a match with them. So I looked on the board and I saw Ming and Barbarian. And let me tell you something. I peed my pants just a little bit. Bro, if you have never seen these two guys back in the day, they looked like they looked like two big old buffaloes. I mean, they were just big with a lot of hair and and they just looked like they wanted to just
Yeah.
kill something. So so I mean, I was actually scared. You know, I was a little nervous about this match because when they wrestled, they
Right.
looked like they killing people too. Bang, bang. So we got into the match. We were getting ready to match, and I was telling Clay Chancellor, he said, "No, they'll take care of us, man. They'll take care of you. These guys are good." I was nervous, so I told Glacier, I said, "I need some kind of before you go out, you want your muscles to shine." So I said, "You got any kind of oil, baby oil or something?" And nobody had anything but this lady in the wardrobe. So she gave it to us and we getting ready to go on. So I'm getting the oil. I start putting it on my arm. And then Nathan, you know, I smelled it, right? I was like, man, this stuff smelled like strawberry and peaches. I was like, dog, look at who, I said, look at who we wrestling right now. He said, what? I said, these guys are from Hawaii, man. These guys gonna eat us alive. That's our fruit. That's all I was thinking. Like they were gonna eat us alive. They were gonna smell the pineapple and fruit. They were gonna just kill us. But you know, we went out, had the match. We had the match, and the match was so good, man. These guys made everything look good. They just look good. They just look vicious. But I heard in real life, Ming is a bad boy.
Now, did you have a favorite person to wrestle? Like, would it be somebody like Glacier who you were really close to, or
No, I wrestled everybody, and I didn't have not. I had one person that I could say, and this guy brought me in, Chris Canyon. Chris Canyon was a great wrestler, man. His job was just to make the other guy look good, and he did that. And he was very
right?
easy to work
Now,
with.
one of the things, like with your athleticism, I know you're going in there and there's just a guy that's got a great build or whatever, but he doesn't have near your athleticism. So, was that challenging for you? Like when you'd go up against somebody who just didn't have the skill?
Bro. My body didn't look that bad now. I
Oh, you were
I
built, you
had
were
the
built,
muscles
man.
too now. Don't
Hey, I
remember,
told you,
yeah,
man. Hey,
yeah.
you're the first person
Why would why would I get mad because somebody else got a little bit more muscle? No,
yeah,
I was
but
just
you
playing.
had usable muscles, man.
I'm gonna tell you another. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you another story. So, I went on a strict diet. I was eating so much, man. I started to have a little belly. And Eric Bischoff walked past me in the hall, and he reached and slapped me on my stomach. I knew exactly what you were talking about. I had just started making money, and you know, and I was eating more out and working out less. So I went deep into it. He didn't have to say anything else. I started lifting weights, man. I started to look good. I started to see the muscles I wanted to see. So I got a little confidence. You know, I went in the locker room. I wouldn't dare take my shirt. I went in the locker room, had my shirt open up, and then I was looking around because everybody in there muscled up. I'm looking, I felt good. I was like, shit, I feel good. Soon as I said that,
Oh,
Scott Steiner walked in. I looked at Scott Steiner. I put my shirt back on. Then, then Lex Luger walked in and started talking to me. So he walked in, I buttoned my shirt all the way up. I said, hey,
Put
I'm
on a
not ready
jacket and a
yet.
hoodie
I'm
too while
not
I'm at
ready
it.
yet. These guys, Yeah, these guys right here, man.
Yeah.
Listen, these guys was incredible, man. They was incredible. That's all they did. They put into their bodies and they work. You know,
Oh
Buff
yeah.
Bagwell had a great physique. He had a great physique, man.
Yeah.
I'd like to go prayers out to him, Mark Bagwell. I don't know if you guys heard
Yeah, I
about him.
heard
He had to
about
get
that,
his leg
man.
cut
I
off.
was going to ask you about that. We'll
So
definitely be praying for
yeah,
him.
so yeah. So prayers out to him.
Now, you know one thing about Steiner though, I don't know if you knew this, but like in Ackworth, he opened up a Shoney's right before COVID. Like, did he not know that
Yeah, I
Shoney's was
remember.
kind of already about done by then?
He must not, cause he opened one. I know he had one open, and I think they was in
Yeah,
bankrupt or something. I don't know what happened, but I
but
know they
like
closed down
whoever
shortly
told
after.
him to open a Shoney's, like why you opening a Shoney's at that time? I mean, about 20 years late.
Yeah,
I
I
wouldn't
don't
say it
know,
to him
man.
because he's probably still built like that, but
Is
Yeah,
yeah,
he
I'll
still
have
get
to have
around
you there
pretty
to
good.
protect me.
But then
Yeah,
we'll go eat if it's still
I
All right.
open. We'll
got you.
go eat, and then we'll talk to them. But let me ask you this: I know
Yeah.
we talked about different wrestlers and things like that, moments you've had, but tell us a little about how was it like dancing with James Brown, man? Like that's pretty iconic.
Man, it is. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I just think back to the way things were set up. It was just part of entertaining, man. I mean, I came up with the whole idea. I came up with everything. I wrote that whole thing. Did none of the producers. In wrestling, you got producers. Producers sit down with other producers, and that's all they do is write the show for the wrestler. I came up. I wrote the whole show. I wrote the whole thing with James Brown. When he gonna come? When he's gonna come? How he was gonna get there? I did everything. And when it turned out to be one of the best things on the pay per
Yeah,
view,
yeah.
it just made me feel good. You know that it was my
That's
idea.
awesome because I mean, obviously you got the skill out there in the ring, but then to have that creativity to write
Yeah.
that and prep that and stuff, that's I mean, that
Yes,
still
yes, yes.
is, when you look on wrestling videos or whatever, you and him out there is still one of the, most searched and most viewed videos.
Bro, exactly, man. So that's something
Yeah.
that should last
So
forever.
one of the things like outside of wrestling, right? I mean, you've been successful in wrestling, you've been successful in martial arts, you've been successful as an actor. I mean, like what do you feel like, and this is something that I'd like you to share with our audience, like, what allows you to be successful in so many different things? I know you have some natural giftings, but like what kind of things do you do that people don't see?
No, I'm not gonna put it on me. God gave me a gift. And that gift is not
Okay.
afraid to start over. I'm not afraid to get into it, from the beginning. A lot of people think, hey, if I go back, I got to start over again. It may not be. Listen, I'm not afraid to start over. And that's it. That's it. Like you name out everything. I got out of wrestling. If I wanted to be an actor, I can't just go to the top. I got to go to the bottom and start over again. Playing, being a wrestler. I didn't come right in and just go to the top. If you're gonna be a pro wrestler and something you don't know anything
Right,
about,
right.
and you're gonna be a pro wrestler, you got to start to learn those things. Like I was telling you, I was in a spot where it was dark.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about wrestling, but I found out, and it came. I got, I went through it and I did it. So to me, that's my bit of advice. Don't be afraid to
Oh,
start
that's
over.
huge. And I think that that's a big thing that you've showed over and over, and it's allowed you to be very successful. And I'm glad that you shared the faith piece too, because I know you're a man of faith, and I know that that's a huge thing that's really brought you a lot of places and stayed with you. So,
You know what? That's the truth. Even at my, it should have been my most enjoyable moment. I had to share that. I had to stop what I was doing to share that with the Lord. And I remember a time to where I was waiting for my my check to hit the bank, and that was gonna be $1 million. My first check, all in one. They gave it to me all in one. It was gonna be $1 million. And back then, once the money hit the bank, you can call and say, "Okay, the money's in the bank." I got a call from the bank. I'm riding down I-138, and I had a little money, but not a lot of it. And the bank manager called and said, "Hey, your check is in the bank." So he says 1 point something. Being happy, being glad that, not that I got the money, but was able to do something like in pro wrestling to earn the right to have this. But at the same time, I stopped and I said it wasn't a prayer, it was just words to me, but it meant something. I said, "Lord, listen, God, if this is not from you, I want you to take it away." As much as I was excited, in love, just happy about what I just received, the amount of money, it's like God still was, if it's not from you, God, take it away. This ain't, 'cause if I can't do the work that you want me to do with it, I don't want it for no other reason. And that's when I learned money, material things don't mean anything. Don't mean anything. Material things do not mean anything. They do for a little while to you, maybe, but material thing loses zest, just like anything else. What mean more to me is how the impression I leave on other people when I leave. When I leave. When I leave the room,
Right.
Yeah.
what people gonna say about you then? That's what I care about.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, I think we're going to kind of maybe switch gears a little bit, and whenever we have guests, we like to do like just random like lightning round questions, just to get to know you a little bit better and things like that. If that's okay to do it with you. All right, I'm just going to ask you like
Let's
3 or 4
go.
like quick questions with like 2 options. You got to give like the first answer that pops to your mind, or the first thing that you prefer over one. Okay. So first thing, sweet tea or unsweet tea?
Okay.
Okay.
Sweet. No,
Yeah,
no.
okay.
I knew it.
Okay.
Mixed.
Okay.
Half and half.
Now we're getting fancy. Okay.
Yeah,
Mixed.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Mountain vacation
Yeah,
or
yeah,
beach
yeah.
vacation?
Mountain.
Okay.
I
Okay.
love to
Like fly
fish and
fishing or
hunt.
just any type of fishing?
I'm not into it that much, any kind of thing. We don't even need a rod. We just
Throw it
take the
out.
string and put a
Well,
hook on
hey,
it and
if you're
throw
ever
it
near
out there.
Chattanooga, we'll go fishing.
We'll go fishing.
Oh man, that bitch. Okay, I
Hey, come
might
on,
take you
man.
up on
Come
that
on.
offer. I love it.
Ice cream or donuts? Okay. On that
Donuts.
segue, Krispy Kreme or Dunkin'? Yes, sir. Good
Oh,
answer.
Krispy
Good answer.
Kreme. You know
Krispy Kreme,
that.
That's the only
they just
answer.
melt when you hold them. I mean,
Listen, I'm telling you, I go back in the day. Sunday was my Krispy Kreme donut day, and I somewhere my wife will bring those donuts to me every Sunday, 12,
listen,
and I eat the whole
That's
box.
the only reason.
I eat the whole box.
That's the only
Well, I
reason he
haven't
wants a
had a
wife,
donut.
so he can have a Sunday Krispy Kreme day.
listen. If that red sign's on, I'm pulling
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
Even if it's not on, I'm pulling in. But it's just better.
Oh my goodness. I haven't had a donut in years, but
Listen, you'll
man,
come
I used to
fishing
love
up here,
those
and then we'll go to
days.
Krispy Kreme if their sign's on.
Ooh, see y'all talking.
Okay, Ford or Chevy? Good answer. Good answer.
Chevy.
Silverado is the best truck they made. And then McDonald's or Burger King? Okay,
Mickey
They got
D's.
the
I'm
better
gonna go
French
with Mickey
fries.
D's.
they do have the better French fries. I'll
Yeah,
give you that.
yeah.
I'll give you that.
In a foot race, who wins, you or Austin?
Man, I don't know. I don't know. It depends on a
Right.
hundred or a mile or
Which
what.
one's your best? Are you more of a distance or a sprinter?
You know it's so funny. Even at 62, I still run sprints. Every Sunday I run 100-yard sprints. I do 10 of those. And I stopped running distant because it started to eat into my muscle too much. So You know, I like to sprint. I like to get my
Yeah,
heart
because I
rate up
mean,
and
you can
everything.
tell that you still working out like at a crazy level because you're staying incredibly fit still. Um,
Yeah, I'm trying to
Now,
stay in shape.
12
You
year
can't let
old
it go.
just got a black belt, Ernest Miller. Could he take Austin?
You
He does.
sounded
He
like
does, man.
Boston
He gives me
there.
a hard time, man.
I can't take
Right.
Austin, but I
Hey,
can probably
that's a
teach
good
him.
diplomatic answer, Ernest. That's a good answer. See, I'll buy your
Yeah,
donuts now when you go.
yeah.
We go to Krispy Kreme.
Well, man, we
Okay.
appreciate having you on. Do you have any last things you want to share for our audience?
Hey man, listen, I just enjoy doing these things with you guys. People like you, man, guys that I know and people, man. I hope somebody can hear this and get something from it. Thank you. I
Yeah,
want to
man, we
thank you guys for
appreciate you
having
being
me on.
on. And
Yeah.
Rojo family, check it out. Make sure you follow the cat. Cat, can you let them know a couple ways they can follow you?
Man, listen, I'm on Instagram, Ernest The Cat Miller, social media, Instagram, Facebook. You know,
Awesome.
Awesome,
that's
man.
the way to
Well, we
get me.
appreciate you coming on, man. It's been great talking with you. And Rojo family, we'll see you guys next time.
All right. See you, Rojo family. See you, Cat.
I'd like to introduce myself. I don't believe that we have ever met.